So guys, in this video we are going to take a look at this command line arguments. So these are very important because we have seen the user input in the previous video, right? So whenever administrator or any user uh, need not be right at that place to give the input. So in that way administrator gives the command line arguments and automate the things. So he will just give the command line arguments and put this under timing, so it will execute, the script will execute at particular time without any user input. So in those cases, for automation purposes, command line arguments are very helpful. So first, so let me show you this example so that you will understand what the command line arguments are. So first, let's say $a is equals to the arguments are stored in this args array. So we will discuss the arrays later, but for now let's assume the $args are predefined variable and it will store all the arguments you have given to the script. So let's say args will give you the all the command line arguments. To access the first command line argument, you need to say square brackets and put the 0, because in computer everything starts with 0, so the array starts with 0. So first, if you want to access the first command line argument, you need to give the args of 0. For the second element, you need to put the 1, and so on. Now I will just print this one. So let's go ahead and run this. So if you run this one, you will get the blank output because we have not given any command line argument. So to give this command line argument, you need to say dot / hello world.ps1, and then this is the command line argument. You want to say 55. So this is the command line argument you have given. So in the previous commands we have seen minus some option, and then we will give the name, like name this service and value is equals to. So in this is the command line argument, and you can give this 55 as the first command line argument. If you hit enter, now this 55 will be displayed. So I'm going to hit enter. Now 55 is going to be displayed. So in the same way you can access the second command line arguments also. Let's say $b is equals to $args of 1. This gives the second command line argument. So now you can operate on these command line arguments. You can say $b plus 10 or etc., something like that. So by default, let's say dot get type. To know what is the type, this will be stored as a string, and you need to convert this into integer if you want. $b, and I'm going to just print this one. So now if I run this script, we will not get anything. So we just say 55 and say 10. Now as you can see, this is the integer type. So sorry, it will store as a normal type because it's array can store more than number of elements, so different data types. So this is an integer, and we can also print the type of the second command line argument. And let's go ahead and run this. Now let's say hi. Now as you can see, first one is integer and second one is string. So in this way you can access this command line arguments. Now you can also say $args dot, and if you hit the dot, you can see the bunch of options, class variables and the class functions. You can see the count here. So it will describe the number of arguments you have passed through the script. Let's say this one, and I'm just say write total arguments are. So now I can display the total number of arguments. Now if I run this one, okay, I did not use this one. So there is an error. So let's see this one. Let's stay right. Alright, now let's just print this one. I think we need to assign it to another variable. Okay, let's say $.count. So let's go ahead and execute this one. So you can see there are 0 arguments. So why there are 0? So okay, I'm just running this one. Okay, I'm so sorry. I just need to run with the command line arguments. So first one is 55 and the next one is high and the next one is 2. So because we have given 2 command line arguments, those are 55 and high. So these are the command line arguments count. You can also get length of each command line argument. Let's say length dot length. I think we should get the length, right? Okay, we need to say $a dot length. So now we will get the so you can see the output of the length of this 55 is 1 because it's an integer. It will store the number of bytes. Let's say $b. Now it will store the number of bytes, that is 2. You will get the output as 2. Now let's go ahead and increase this, say hello. Now you will get 5. So that is the length of this second command line argument. So these are the basics of the command line arguments. So you can also say there is another function, that is param function. So in the previous videos what we have done is we have created new variable using new variable minus name. So minus, we need to say minus name and minus value, right? So we need to say this param of say first $first name comma $last name. So let me delete this one. Now I will show you the way, then you will get much more understanding. So let's write so now what we can say is we can say hello world, and then we can specify the first name here. As you can see, I have typed the hyphen and it means the PowerShell ISE is going to show me this the methods or the command line variables I want to assign this, because first name and the last name we have given as a parameters. That's why it's showing the first name and last name. Now I can type the first name and now I can give the value to it. Let's say Sai, and now I can specify the last name. Last name I can say Nikhil. And now if I hit enter, and we are going to print this first name. So whenever I have given like this Sai will be stored in this first name variable, and this Nikhil is going to be stored in the last name variable, and then you can access this in the code, or you can do modifications you want. So this is the better way than the previous one. So in the previous one we don't know what which variable the value is going to be stored. So we do not know the 55 variable name, that is A, right? So we do not know here, we do not know in which variable hello is going to show. So that makes some confusion when another developer is going to read your code. So you need to implement this param function to define each and command line variable. You can just say first name Sai. So whenever any other developer sees your code, they will get an idea that this Sai is going to be stored in this first name and the Nikhil is going to be in the last name. So I just want to put the camel case, so it's general and decent convention. So let's run this again. So I will get the same output. So it's a case insensitive, but it is good to follow this camel case. So that's all for this video, guys. I hope you have understood. We have learned the normal command line arguments, like directly giving without the options. So this param function will make the variables at that time, and then will assign according to these values. You can see the first name and Sai, last name Nikhil.